It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news. This is the Southwest Outdoors Report.
Okay, fast answer to a quick question. Best bass lake in America. Everybody's answer right now, Lake Falcon down on the Texas-Mexico border, but that is not Lake Falcon. You see, 5 years ago, if I had asked that same question, everybody would have agreed that the best bass lake in America is Lake Amistad. However, something happened to this lake, and it's been in steady decline since then. On today's show, we're going to go out on Lake Amistad, just outside Del Rio, Texas, and we'll investigate if the bass fishing is coming back after the decline. We'll also talk a little bit about what caused it. And in between those fishing stops, we're taking you around our Southwest region for your very latest fishing reports from the Texas Gulf Coast, Texas freshwater, Louisiana, and Oklahoma. We'll also have a tip for you on the Lawrence Hot Lake of the Week. We'll be showing you the Costa Catch of the Week, where someone wins a free pair of Costa sunglasses. We'll have the Academy Right Stuff and much more in the next half hour. But first, let's get you back to the FSN studios where Julie has your weekend planner.
Your prime fishing hours this weekend will be starting around noon and again around midnight. Expect the sun to rise at 7:07 a.m. and set at 7:52 p.m. And Friday features a full moon, so evenings will be very well lit. Stay with us, we've got fishing updates from around the entire region. And I'll be back with Bassmaster Rookie of the Year, Ott Defoe, on the Ask the Pro feature.
The Southwest Outdoors Report is brought to you by Tracker Boats, Fish the Finest, by Lawrence, and the all-new HDS Gen 2 with Structure Map Overview, by Strand Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability, by Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there, and by Academy Sports and Outdoors, right stuff, low price, every day.
Oh, got one. Oh, she's around a bush though. There, come off of there, got it. All right. There's a fat little male bass for you. All right, there's a way to get it going. Hi everybody, your SOR is on the road today at Lake Amistad, Del Rio, Texas. And there is the first bass of the day, kind of a real skinny looking, either a little spawned out female or a male. Let it go back. And let me tell you my observations about the lake. Again, it's been 5 years since I've been here. I do have a 12-pound bass that I caught out of this lake. I'll show you a quick shot of that from an old show, but did catch a monster here back during the peak. The lake declined, and now the lake is 19 feet low. Everything's concentrated down, and what I'm seeing are a lot of little beds and a few cruising bass up and down these little bushes that are submerged right along the shoreline. But as you can see, we'll pan up the shoreline there, and you can see where the water line's supposed to be, way up there at the base of those. I guess those are mesquite trees or something. So the lake is really low, but again, that kind of concentrates the fish. They're pulling up here trying to spawn. Water temperature about 62 to 65 degrees, something like that. Caught that one on a little Texas rigged hoodaddy. All right, got something going here. Water's gin clear at this lake. You need fluorocarbon line. I've got Stren fluorocarbon on here, and I'm only using about it's either 14 or 17 pounds, so fairly light for this application. Let's check in right now with Brian Hughes. Here's your Texas Fishing and Lake Reports.
Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Andrews Custom Leather, your choice for distinction and class in your shooting accessories. Now we're going to start this week with a couple of Parks and Wildlife press releases. The first one concerning Miller's Creek Reservoir just southwest of Seymour, Texas. Turns out this is a underutilized, very hot hybrid striper fishery right now. They are showing in surveys not only a lot of stripers, but very large ones as well. And it turns out hardly anybody fishing this lake. Let's get out there, it's just west of Abilene, catch some hybrids on either slabs and spoons or your live bait. Miller's Creek also has great sand bass populations as well. Now the second release Parks and Wildlife sent out concerns Lake Livingston and the state park, where they have recently released more than 30 60-pound blue catfish. Turns out these were breeders that got too big to be used at the fishery center for breeding purposes, so they just cut them loose in Lake Livingston. So for some fantastic, gigantic blue catfishing, check out Lake Livingston. And for more on Texas reports, check out my picture on the reporter's page at southwestoutdoorsreport.com. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Andrews Leather. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's out on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's report is brought to you by Port Aransas on Mustang Island. Surrounded by pristine bays, estuaries, and the deep blue waters of the Gulf of Mexico, Port A is truly the fishing capital of Texas. Come fish, golf, and play Texas Island style. For more information, visit the website on the screen. Well, the move is on. At least that's what the reports are indicating along the Texas coast. Speckled trout are on the move to mud grass from deeper shell, and they're on the move from deeper water to more shallow flats. Out of Port O'Connor, the best bite has occurred in water 2 to 3 feet deep. On the south end of Sabine, the same depth is producing, and on the lower Laguna Madre out of Port Isabel, that's the best depth at a variety of locations. A variety of live bait or soft plastics are catching fish. There's also an emerging topwater bite. The smaller junior-sized baits are best. Fish are also on the move around all the jetties and up through the land cut. These tide runners are most active on incoming tides as they make their way back into the bays. Around the Galveston jetties, sheep's head, redfish, and drum are showing up. Crab, shrimp, and cut bait are best baits. As I mentioned on my update on our webpage, the Middle Coast back lakes are holding trout and reds. And there's an improving bite around the grass on the Lydia Ann Channel, as well as Dagger and Stebbin Islands. This weekend, Saturday has a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides. Sunday's a 3 tide day with 2 high tides and just 1 low. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
Come out, come out. Not too bad. Oh, pulled off right there. All right, we've got fish that are up in these bushes like you can see right here behind me, and they're making nests and spawning right along the edges and sometimes buried up real deep in those bushes. You got to have good strong tackle to be able to horse them out of there, especially if it's a decent fish. That was maybe a 2.5 to 3 pound fish, something like that. So fishing on Lake Amistad today. Got some good springtime spawning largemouth bass fishing. We'll see if Amistad is on the comeback trail. Stay with us, got more fishing reports and a lot more from far south Texas right after this. Got him. Out in deeper water, this could be a little better fish right here. Oh yeah, better. Better fish. Let's slip a net under this fish. All right, there we go. There's a little better Amistad bass for you right there. Hey, welcome back everybody. SOR, checking out Lake Amistad. That, my friend, is a little better chunk. That fish hit a biffle bug, Texas rigged, and you saw it, we were catching those smaller buck bass, and what we found is that there are a lot of males up shallow in 3 to 5 feet of water on nests spawning. But I couldn't see any good fish up doing that, so what I did is I've moved back out. And I'm out and throwing in 12 to 16 feet of water with a Texas rig, and it didn't take but about 10 minutes, and there is a bigger bass for you. Let him swim back. All right, well that's some fun. What I'm liking about what I'm seeing is that all around us here, with the lake being 19 feet low, there are exposed humps and points and ridges, a lot of tapered points running off out into deep water with a lot of brush lining those, and then some little humps coming up off the floor of the lake that are now in perfect depth, and that's going to be real good fishing for this summer with a Carolina rig lizard and a deep diving crankbait. After this spawn is over with, we should have real good fishing here at Amistad for a while to come. Well, seeing a lot of fish. First good one right there. Let's go north to Oklahoma and see what's happening with Gary Dollahan.
Hey, we've gotten some more rain in the state this week, and especially in some areas that really needed it badly, so we're always thankful for that. Now, a lot of you are watching the spring crappie bite down the Lake Eufaula. I talked to Todd Huckabee, who's guiding there every day right now, and he said those crappie are still hanging out about 8 to 12 feet deep. He said that's because they've been drawing that lake down really hard. When you've got a big lake like Eufaula, and to get it to fall like that, they have to pull a lot of water out. He said it's kept those fish hanging out deeper, and they're really hanging tight to cover. He said the brush piles are producing best, and again, 8 to 12 feet deep. He's fishing a double rig with a jig on the bottom, another one up about 12 to 15 inches high above that. Black and pink are the best colors, he said, but you've got to fish tight to the cover for right now. Now, once that lake stabilizes, those fish are going to come screaming into the banks, and I think we're really close to that. Now, over on Grand Lake, Ivan Martin says that they are catching some crappie in the evening hours on the banks, especially in the main lake area, so that says the same thing there. That lake is really close. When that lake level stabilizes, those fish are going to come into the banks. Look for those fish in front of the spawning areas. Ivan also said that right now the white bass fishing is really good below the Grand Lake Dam, so you might want to check that out too as an option. I found something in my backyard that looks like it's going to work for me for a really good barometer on when the fish are biting. To find that out, go to the Southwest Outdoors Report webpage, click on my image in the upper right hand corner. Check it out. One thing about it, you can't catch them if you don't go.
Last week we told you about a brand new Oklahoma state largemouth bass record caught out of tiny Cedar Lake in southeastern Oklahoma. Where is Cedar Lake? We're going to tell you on the Lowrance Hot Lake of the Week. So let's go to the Lowrance HDS-10, the Gen 2 unit that's got the faster processor and the structure scan overlay, and we show you a wide view of Oklahoma, locating Oklahoma City here, Tulsa here, and Fort Smith, Arkansas here. Now, the area where Cedar Lake is located is in this area. We zoomed down to detail that area near Wister, Oklahoma. Wister Lake is right here. Cedar Lake is south of there, and we put a circle around it. It's very small, only 78 acres, and it's in Cedar Lake State Park. It's been stocked with Florida strain largemouth bass, producing several bass over 10 pounds in the last 5 years. My guess is it'll be very crowded for a while, so if you want a plan B, Wister Lake is just north of there. It's a real good lake for crappie, largemouth bass, and catfish, and it's also home to Wister State Park. Stay with us. Cajun Phil and Kevin are next up from Louisiana, and I'll have more bass fishing here at Lake Amistad.
The Southwest Outdoors Report is brought to you by Mercury, the official outboard of the Southwest Outdoors Report for 10 years running. By Excide, start positive, stay positive. By Lou's Reels and Rods, feel the difference. By Whataburger, proud to serve it hot and fresh 24 hours a day. And by Onyx Personal Flotation Devices and Rainwear, keeping you safe on the water.
He's swimming with it. I got one swimming with it. Got him. Boy, he was out there in fairly deep water. Good fish. I better slip the net into this one too, man. I'm on some bigger fish out here. Oh, it's getting good at Amistad all of a sudden. Yeah, that's better. Well, we moved out deeper, and sure enough, that's where the bigger fish are. So I think that what's happening here is that we're on the tail end of the spawn, and that a lot of these bigger fish have already spawned and are moving out to set up on some of that deeper water I was telling you about. And that, my friend, is a good fish for Lake Amistad. The lake is definitely bouncing back. Let me tell you, a lot of the guides and locals believe that the reason this lake declined so badly is because people were keeping this size fish. A lot of these were getting filleted, and a lot of those big ones, 10 or 12 pounders, were getting skin mounted by taxidermists. So we let these kind of fish go back. They spawn, they reproduce, and they make more. So if you're coming to Lake Amistad, release the bass, and we're gonna have a good fishery here for a long time to come. Let's check in right now with Cajun Phil and Kevin in Louisiana.
Hi friends, this is old Cajun Phil with your Fox, Louisiana Southwest Outdoor Report. I tell you what, you ought to be down here in Louisiana right now. As far as bass fishing goes, it could not get any better. I'm talking about from Toledo Bend to Caddo, to the Atchafalaya Basin. Everybody we talk to right now is catching lots of bass. You know what the key seems to be right now? Seems to be the spinnerbait. You got a spinnerbait, get 3 foot of water or less, you will catch yourself some bass. If not, you better take up golf, because I tell you what, bass fishing is off the chart right now across the entire state of Louisiana. We want to talk a little bit about the saltwater scene, because if you're talking about the eastern part of the state, it is unbelievable. Speckled trout, redfish, flounder, you name it. Right now, the reds are hitting mostly on spoons, and we like, of course, throw the Strike Pro Gold Spoon. They're doing really good in shallow water. We're also throwing the Marsh King spinnerbait with the Bass Assassin attached. That's working really well. Captain Kevin and I played fifth in an HT Redfish Cup tournament just a few weeks ago, and the fishing was just fantastic. Here now on the western part of the state, we got a problem with too much fresh water, which means right now the speckled trout action is really slow, but lots of redfish are being caught. So depending on where you want to go, you just contact old Cajun Phil at CajunPhil@hotmail.com, and I'll tell you where you need to go and what guys you need to get with and put you in touch with him, and you too will catch speckled trout, redfish, or bass. Happy fishing, and may God bless, and we go see you folks next week.
The Southwest Outdoors Report is brought to you by Nitro Performance Bass Boats. Fish your best in a Nitro. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. Quality soft plastic baits made in Oklahoma with American pride. By Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. And by Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Engineering for angling.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time now for our Ask the Pro feature. Our question this week is from Monty in Fort Worth, who asks, what is a good technique for a lake that gets a lot of pressure? For the answer, let's check with 2011 Bassmaster Rookie of the Year, Ott Defoe.
That's a great question. Something I do whenever I'm fishing for pressured fish, I like to throw a real small, shallow running crankbait. A bait that only runs a couple feet deep, and I like to fish in some stained water. You know, but this being an area where a lot of other people have gone through, they may be throwing spinner baits, chatterbaits, wide wobbling crankbaits. I like to go through with a real small, tight wobbling balsa wood bait. And I really want to fish that bait around any kind of cover, you know, stumps, logs, around grass. And I'm really trying to bounce that bait off the cover, get reaction fish to bite. You know, those are fish that have been fished for a lot by other people.
If you have something to ask one of our pros, just visit the website at southwestoutdoorsreport.com, click on the Ask the Pro link, and send us your question. Have a great weekend. Now it's time for your Costa Big Catch of the Week.
Time right now for this week's Costa Catch of the Week winner, and he is from Mustang, Oklahoma. You're looking at a photo of Brad Homer and a big armload of 35 pounds of spoonbill, or paddlefish as they're known, up around Fort Gibson Reservoir in Oklahoma, where he caught this fish. Now Brad wins a brand new pair of Costa sunglasses, and the Costa frame style of the month is the same one that I'm wearing on today's show. It's called Tag. The Tag is a cool looking frame that hugs your face and is perfect for sight fishing like we're doing some of on today's show. It comes in 3 frame colors in either 580 glass or polycarbonate, and it's available in prescription lenses as well. Check out Costa's Tag frame style at costadelmar.com. And if you want a chance to win a pair for your very own, go to our website, click on the Costa Catch of the Week link on the right-hand side. You could have your photo shown right here on our show. Next up, it's the Academy Sports and Outdoors Right Stuff feature. And if you're coming to Amistad, I can't emphasize enough how critical your choice of fishing line is. This water is absolutely some of the clearest in our region. I've seen the bottom in as deep as 12 feet of water today. These fish can be very finicky, so you need to choose a very clear line. And fluorocarbon line is some of the clearest known to man. Stren makes 2 different kinds of fluorocarbon line. There's Fluorocast, which is a very limp, castable, very invisible line, and it's perfect for spinning tackle and light bait cast applications. Then, for your tougher applications, there's Stren 100% Fluoro. It's good for fishing around brush and rocks and a lot of the cover that you'll find here at Amistad. It's a little more abrasion resistant. Hey, I'd like to remind you that next week's show will be on at a special time, Thursday night at 8:30, right before the Dallas Mavericks basketball game out on the West Coast. And our show airs at 8 o'clock every Saturday morning. If you're setting your DVR, set it for Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. That time never changes. You can always watch the latest episode 24/7 right on the front page of our brand new website. You can view past episodes of the show at our YouTube channel. You link to it from the front page of our website. And you get exclusive content, including weekly sneak peek previews of our show, lots of photos and video that you'll never see anywhere else, on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Southwest Outdoors Report. Hey, our thanks to the Ramada Inn of Del Rio, Texas, where we stay when we come to Amistad. They have great spots out back where you can plug in your battery charger on your boat and charge up overnight, and those are kind of few and far between in Del Rio. Well, I've been very impressed with the comeback in the fishery here at Lake Amistad. The last time I was here, the fishing was very, very difficult. Fished for 2 full days and only caught about a dozen fish, with the biggest being 2.5 pounds. We did much better than that on this trip, as you saw on today's show. Take care of the fishery, release the bass, lots of good structure, lots of good cover to fish. I think you would enjoy a trip down to the Texas-Mexico border at Del Rio, Texas, at beautiful Lake Amistad. See you next week. Until then, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe. Have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.